Please don't mind what you're seeing right now. It's just my favorite scene from the movie. That's all. It's so badass. Welcome to Keep Stalling episode 3, and today we're checking out the second installation of the movie based on the Philip K. Dick novel, Do Sheep Dream in Electric Sleep? Or something like that. Okay, anyway, the movie's called Blade Runner, and the one that we're going to look at is the 2017 Denis Villeneuve directed sequel called Blade Runner 2049. This one, it's a movie that happens 30 years after the event of the first film. It picks up immediately after the blackouts, which you only understood after we watched the anime called Blade Runner Blackout 2022. Something that I still need to watch because maybe I'll get some answers there as to some of the things that I missed. But you've noticed that a lot of people who watch this movie have been asking the same question, like, what is going on in this movie? I don't get it. So there is one video that can help you understand that it's all about the human experience. The movie is basically about a world where these beings are created called replicants, and these beings are sort of meta-humans, and they are created for certain tasks, and these tasks makes them more useful than humans are. But now it got to a point in the first film that these replicants decided to go on a revolt because they were facing mortality, and also it was them trying to understand, like, what are they and what is their point of their existence. So they were taken out, and then one of them decided to stay with the protagonist of the first film, and it brings us to the second film. In this second film, as I said, it's 30 years after the first film, and the company that had built the replicants first had gone bankrupt and been bought off by a company called the Wallace Corporation. The first company was Tyrell, now it's Wallace Corporation. And the Wallace Corporation is run by a guy named Niander Wallace. Niander Wallace decides we're going to build these replicants again, and then he gets control again. But now something happens in the second movie. In the second movie, we have these new age replicants, and the one replicant who's the protagonist, his name is Agent K. He's been tasked to take out all the old replicants. But now what happens is when he's busy with his task, he realizes that something happened, and one of the replicants of the past did something big, something that has never been seen before. It gave birth, and that gains the attention of him, that gains the attention of his superiors, that gains the attention of Niander Wallace himself. And then different motives are suddenly brought into the picture. The first motive is to have this thing covered up, because the minute other replicants learn that they can do that, there's a revolt. Niander Wallace learns about that, and then he wants to get a piece of the pie, because that would mean that he can produce replicants faster and then be in control. Which brings me to what the movie is trying to sell. All replicants are created with a purpose. They are created to serve and not find purpose in anything else. We see that in this world, humans are obsolete. Like, the new age, the new way of doing things is via purchasing or getting a piece of all the replicants that are created by the Wallace Corporation and having these replicants perform certain things for you. It's even mentioned by Wallace himself, saying that a lot of civilization has found its way through labor, and he says that he can only build a few.
Every civilization was built off the back of a disposable workforce. But I can only make so many. Happy birthday.
So that builds into what he's trying to do. He's trying to be in control of what civilization is. He's trying to be the orchestrator, the puppet master of how civilization goes, because the minute he has control of how many replicants are created, or how replicants are created, he's in control of how civilization will go. Now, this touches into something else. This thing now is it brings into a new way of labor being sold to people. Now, you have this company that sells you labor without you having to deal with human problems, and humans are now obsolete and they're being left in the background, and this is the new way of doing things. I think even if you notice, in one of the scenes where Kay realizes that there's a child, he's being sent to a sort of wasteland to try and find the child. And the first thing you see in that wasteland is an orphanage and a guy who has all these children and tells them that you need to work to have a purpose. If you don't work, you won't find your way in the world. So this is humans' way of trying to still survive in this world that has actually rejected them, and they're trying to still fit in. In another example, you see a blast from the past when he visits Deckard to try to get answers, because at some point he thinks that he's the child of the replicant that did the miracle of giving birth. When you get to the past, we meet Deckard, who was the original agent in the first movie. He lives in isolation in a town that is abandoned, and there are flashes, reminders of what the past used to be. You see the hologram of Elvis Presley, but it's a hologram that's actually malfunctioning. It doesn't work as good as it used to. So overall, Blade Runner is doing that. It's telling you that this is the world, and progression of civilization is through labor. And if you can't fit into that, we're going to leave you behind and you'll be left behind. Sort of the 2018 phrase that everyone has applied, the fit in or F off, so to speak. I hope this brings a better understanding to the movie. And yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for tuning in.